welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the Law Super Career Fair today. My name is Taylor. I work for Prosel and I'll be hosting today's legal focus session. Firstly, I would quickly like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land on which we meet on today. I'd also like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I'd also like to extend a big thank you to today's sponsor, the College of Law, who made this event possible. So for today's focus session, I would like to welcome our three panelists, Andrea from Kraft Heinz, Jay from Bank of Queensland, and Michelle from Property Exchange Australia. Welcome all. So to kick things off, let's go around the virtual room per se and do some quick introductions. Michelle, I might hand the mic to you first to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I currently look after the talent acquisition team at PEXA. PEXA stands for Property Exchange Australia, and we're relatively mid-sized, so around 330 people here. As we are so small, my role encompasses wearing multiple hats. So that could be from recruitment across the organisation to managing our graduate program to implementing technology solutions in our HR team. So it's a really diverse role, which I love. And to give you guys an overview about PEXA, we were established 10 years ago, and we started off as an idea, which is to deliver a seamless digital property experience for conveyancers, lawyers, practitioners, the banks and the land registry officers alike, so that buyers and sellers can settle electronically. And we're proud to be able to say that we have so far delivered that mission and have helped over 20,000 people settle in their homes each and every day. So that's a brief introduction about myself. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Well said. Andrea, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, certainly. My name's Andrea Allen. I'm a senior legal counsel across ANZ for the Kraft Heinz company. The Kraft Heinz company is obviously a very large global organisation, and we have a dedicated in-house team, which is part of a global legal team. And our global legal team probably has a few hundred. It's probably the size of a major law firm. And we have a dedicated team here covering Australia and New Zealand, Japan and South Korea. And we have approximately, we have about 4 lawyers, and the positions we tend to have a senior legal counsel because we tend to find that we need a pretty high degree of experience to cover the matters that we're dealing with. But we also have juniors that do work with us, and we also have law graduates that come into our organisation. The company is a food manufacturing company that does a large range of products and is one of the largest food manufacturing companies in the world.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Andrea. Jay, how about you?
Hey everyone, my name's Jay Wee. I work at Bank of Queensland, and we are a regional bank head office out of Brisbane. We do have offices in Sydney and then branches around Australia, and we also 100% own Virgin Money Australia based out of Sydney. And very exciting, we acquired bank a few months ago, so that will settle towards the end of the year. I'm the talent diversity and inclusion partner for Bank of Queensland, so I look after all their early talent and internship, as well as helping roll out our D&I initiatives across the bank.
Lovely, thank you, Jay. Well, thanks for that, and welcome again to the panelists and the students in this session. I've prepared a few questions to ask the panelists, but in saying that, fire away in the chat if you students have additional questions, and I'll keep an eye out to answer some of those as well. So to kick it off with a bit of an opening question, Andrea, I might pick on you first. In terms of advice, what important piece of advice would you give to students to land a job at Kraft Heinz?
I would say that we do have a strong graduate program here. We tend to take a range of graduates across different disciplines, not just law, but law graduates do have a good success rate in getting through. So I think one of the pieces of advice is that it's a great opportunity to come and work with us. And I think one of the skills is to be adaptable, be able to adapt to new technologies and processes. And I think that the company is in a good position to embrace change as it's happening globally. And I think the way we do business has changed so much that it's really a good opportunity to absorb a lot of learning and treat it as a very treat it in an open and flexible way, to get good business training that can be applicable and will be a great experience going forward, whatever you end up doing.
Beautiful answer. Love that. Michelle, I might hand the mic to you as well in terms of what piece of advice would you give to students to work at PEXA?
Thank you. I should mention that we are also just based in Australia at the moment, and our head office is in Melbourne. I guess as a software company, the piece of advice that I would give is to have a customer mindset. So no matter who you are dealing with, to ensure that that is at the forefront of the solution, and keeping that in the front of your mind. But also just in regards to specifically when applying to PEXA, we do look for a bit of personality in your application, and we do look for, I guess, the why as well. So articulating on your application, why you are applying to the organisation and why specifically that role. It's more important than you think. This advice might be general across all roles, but as someone who is screening day in and day out, that is the advice that I would give graduates.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Jay, I might ask you a wee different question just to give you an idea about when you're recruiting. So yeah, when are you recruiting? When are you looking to open up applications?
Sure. So BOQ has an internship program every summer for 10 weeks, and we will open applications around July this year for our next summer's intake. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have a grad program. So students, if you are in your penultimate year, now is your time to shine. And a lot of companies as well will look for students through their internship to pipeline through to their graduate program, as we are. So yeah, July, keeping up a lookout for applications then.
Exciting. Cool. Andrea, how about your team? When are you looking to open up applications?
I think our applications have already gone, obviously they've already gone through. I can't give you the precise date, but they usually come through in the early second half of this year. But there's quite a lengthy process that happens. And the new graduates usually are announced in Q4 before the start of the coming year.
Cool. Students, keep an eye out for Kraft Heinz as well. Michelle, how about you? When are you looking to open up applications?
They are open now. So this careers fair was actually on the tail end. So you do have until the 18th, which is this weekend, to apply. We, at the moment, due to our size, are only looking at one business graduate. So you wouldn't be particularly placed in our law team, our in-house lawyer team. But in saying that, because a lot of our customers, or as we call them, members, are lawyers and conveyancers, we do value with someone with a law background or degree or an interest in law. So in saying that, the business graduate program would be a really good fit, hopefully, and our applications close soon. So we'll commence the process for that really shortly. And we are looking for the candidate to start this year in July. So it's a very tight turnaround.
Awesome. It's good to hear. Now I might switch it up a little bit. Again, if you got questions in the on your mind, just feel free to post them in the chat, and we'll look to answer those as well. In terms of working, well, actually, what sort of working in or students who do land a job with you, Jay, what do you recommend, or what piece of advice would you give them to thrive, and what should they possibly look to avoid doing?
I think any hiring manager and new starter goes through that hard learning period, and I would say ask as many questions as you can. My yardstick is about you're asking the right number of questions when you're starting to feel annoying. I would also suggest things like helping clarify deadlines and things. So if you're given a piece of work, it's really handy to sort of say, when do you need this by, or set expectations by saying, I'm actually quite busy and committed for, Wednesday, Thursday to deliver this to someone else. I can have this to you by Friday. So that's really helpful. And I do that still throughout my career, just to help you plan and set expectations. So just ensuring that you're keeping that communication open. I think remember that coming into any type of internship or grad role, we're not expecting you to know how to do the job before you join. What we're really hiring you on is potential and good attitude and a growth mindset. So I think if you're coming in with those things and you're just happy to be there and learn and be a sponge and absorb all those things, that's going to be your greatest asset coming into an organization as well. Meet people, decide if you like it. That's the best thing about an internship, is try before you buy. And that's for both sides, right? You as an intern are going in to assess, is the work what you enjoy? Is the organization culture something that you can see yourself working in? Because all of us know who've worked now realize that having a good boss matters, or work culture and values that you believe in that align to your own, do lead to satisfaction in employees and better output. So I would say also do some research on the organization you're joining.
Awesome advice. Probably learn a few things here too. Andrea, how about you in terms of what would make a student or a grad survive and thrive in their first year, and what should they potentially avoid doing?
I think I absolutely agree with Jay. I think that was excellent advice, because we're on a journey in our careers, and it's very important who you work with. The people you work with take up a lot of time in your life, and the job and organisation that you're working for it really can impact you if it's not the right fit for you. And so I think it is very important to make sure that you understand some information about what this organisation is, what it does, how it operates, its values, and there should be there should be information available about that. See if it's does it have a diversity policy? Is it inclusive? Does it look like it's a friendly face to engage with? And I think it's very important to feel comfortable moving into an engagement with an organisation, because it is very important who you're working with. And so that's I absolutely agree with Jay's points there. I would also say that having one of the skills that lawyers and law graduates get is they may be doing multiple disciplines in their studies. They might have dual qualifications, and there's a lot of analytical ability that law students tend to have, but there's also a lot of people skills that you need, and a lot of other skills like organisational skills that are not necessarily strictly in the discipline that you're in. And so I think lateral thinking and I think flexibility and initiative are very important.
Great advice. I actually might ask you the same question, Michelle. Getting some great answers here. Pass the mic to you.
Thank you. I think Jay and Andrea have pretty much covered off everything. Absolutely being able to adapt to change in an organisation in today's world. The only thing I would add is to absolutely network. So, as a graduate, you may kind of come in and feel as though like this is your close bubble, this is your team, and not kind of put your hand up to network outside of your direct team, or just to reach out when you need help. So as a recruiter myself, and I would give any graduate this advice, is to go out there and network and set up coffee catch-ups if you can, or catch-ups with people outside of just your direct team, as you're just beginning your journey. And throughout your career, you'll find that networking is, for me, the opportunities that I've seen in my job is just from meeting people and networking. So get out there and don't be shy.
3 beautiful answers here. Awesome. Well, we've got a question from Sai in the chat just regarding first year law students and I guess if they're wanting to get a bit of exposure early on in their study life. Jay, is there any positions at BOQ in terms of first year law students? Can they be involved?
Yeah, so we take a lot of uni students and things into our frontline staff, so our customer services officers and things like that in our branches. It's a really great way to get some sort of professional experience. You can work casually while you study as well. And if you choose, there is that pathway to branch management and leadership. In terms of reception and sort of legal clerking, no, we don't take first year students. We really use our interns as our casual pool to fill business needs there. And I think that's quite common among a lot of big organizations because they're using people that are coming back as graduates. So therefore they're investing in staff that are going to be staying with them long term. So I'm going to keep coming back to the point that internships are really, really vital as part of your sort of student career, and that a lot of organizations are really moving towards that internship to graduate pathway. So I know you're thinking about it a little bit probably earlier than you first thought, but thinking about that in your pre-penultimate year can be really beneficial in terms of your work experience and graduate opportunities at the end.
Awesome, thank you. Andrew, how about you? Is there first year, for example, first year law students, is there opportunities for them to get a bit of a taste in terms of working for Kraft Heinz?
Unfortunately, there aren't. Our graduate program is for, I think, those in their final year. It's a little bit more of a graduate program in that sense.
Awesome. I might ask another question here. Michelle, what teams from your organisation do you hire with a law degree?
I'd say majority of our teams, we really value law degrees, particularly as our customers are predominantly lawyers and conveyancers. I think as Andrea said as well, there's lots of interchangeable skills from having a law degree. So the current business graduate program that we are offering, you know, as a law student would be using those analytical skills and the ability to strong written communication in the teams, our finance teams, and also our risk teams here at PEXA, and also our member success team as well. So sorry if I went in a roundabout answer, but to answer your question, we would value anyone with a law degree.
Awesome. Jay, how about you?
I agree with Michelle. I think law students have lots of options. Law, like practicing law as being one big avenue, both in-house and with a law firm, but also if you look at organizations more broadly, there are so many teams that value that research, writing, interpreting type of skill set that comes with a law degree. In terms of BOQ, we take quite a number of law students into risk. While risk doesn't necessarily sound sexy, anti-money laundering, fraud prevention, those type of teams really do like a law degree because there are quite some, you know, technical things, and fraud prevention is kind of cool. One of my grads, she impounded a plane from a client that wasn't paying their bill. So, you know, there can be some cool stuff that comes out of it, but generally in business, law degrees, especially if you're doing a dual degree coupled with something else, are very attractive to employers.
I would agree with that. I think law commerce as well is a good one. We see law commerce graduates coming through. We've had law commerce graduates go into our finance team, but also into our more commercial strategy teams. We also have those with other degrees going into other functions like our exports team. So they're into international trading. We also have them going into marketing, and we've certainly had grads with dual degrees and even law degrees on their own going into marketing roles as steps into business, and who may have the option of doing other postgraduate study later once they decide a bit more specifically what they want to do in terms of business, for example.
Awesome, thanks, Andrea. Appreciate that. Again, I'll just give a quick reminder to those students wanting to, if you've got any questions on your mind, just fire away in the chat. I've got one more up my sleeve that I will look to answer. But apart from that, love to hear from the students to see what you are thinking. Lastly, Jay, why should students apply for your organization?
I think BOQ has a lot of opportunity. We're a smaller organisation, so we're growing so fast. We also have multi-brand, so you've got your Virgin Money Australia or VMA, Me Bank's coming in. So there's a lot of really cool activity happening at the moment. There's lots of opportunity to add value and really sink your teeth into things and be part of that change. I also value, as someone who's based in Brisbane, that where I'm in the head office, which is also unusual for big organisations to be head office out of Brisbane. But if there are students based in Sydney, we have just signed a lease for a shiny new office in the Sydney CBD too. So you won't be missing out. But yeah, BOQ is a really great place to work. We have true flexible working, which is awesome. And we've just been WGEA certified, so we've had all those good things that have comes along with that. So yeah, I think it's awesome.
Advertising can't be the nice shiny new office either.
I won't get to be part of it. So I'm based in Brisbane.
Hopefully, when the grads will though. Awesome, Andrea. How about you? Why should students apply for your organisation?
I think it's a great opportunity. The organisation is global. It's not necessarily about working in different countries, but getting exposure to others who are in teams going across countries. We have zones that we work in. We're part of an international zone, and we deal with our colleagues in our legal team in London, Europe, for example. So there's some very interesting, and also the US, of course. So we have issues that we engage with our colleagues on cross-border. We have cross-border issues as well, international trade, all sorts of things. So there's a lot of there's a lot of different scope and breadth in the organisation. When there are so many functions covering all sorts of different things. You know, there's logistics, R&D, operations, quality, manufacturing, finance, commercial roles. There's a huge number of roles in the organisation, and so there is a lot of opportunity to move around and find roles or areas that you might like, but also just to soak up the experience of working. So I think it's really just more about an opportunity and to potentially get exposure in ways that are more international. Perhaps the international flavour is a little bit of a different aspect to it.
Nice. Love it. Michelle, how about you?
Thank you. I feel like I'm sold on the other two companies.
So am I.
But PEXA, why would you want to work for us? I guess we have a very different culture, as we are a technology company. We do lots of collaboration, and we do look up to the likes of your Atlassians and your Googles and your Salesforces. Or did I say that right? Oh, sorry, guys. But honestly, we have a really collaborative culture. We are quite agile. We are quite fun, and we are quite millennial as well, only being 10 years old. So if I had to put PEXA in human form, I'd say that we are a teenager and we're learning how to grow up as well. But we've done so much, and we are so successful in Australia that we are looking to expand to the UK. So that's some exciting work for us. So I'd say really, here at PEXA, we're not really hierarchical, so we value anyone's opinions, whether you have just started or you've been here for 5-6 years. We also, we recognise you for your achievements, and we have lots of internal programs for your development. We were also known as the top 20 best places to work in 2016, I believe, and just haven't entered in the award for the following years, but looking to do that this year. So I think, if you want to learn from really brilliantly minded people who are passionate about the work that they do and their craft, then come and work at PEXA.
Well done.
Love that. Very awesome, exciting opportunity as well. I've got an anonymous attendee post a question around international students. I'm sure there's a few more international students in here, so I might just pose a question. Firstly, Andrea, is there international or room for international students at Kraft Heinz?
I think so. We would have to go through the graduate program, but I believe so. I think it's something I can't answer from my own experience of being on having selected any, but I know that there are people who do come there are international students and people who have come from other countries who are in that process. So I think, yes, there is potential for that, but you'd have to check further with the actual, graduate program.
Cool. Jay, is there international students opportunity for them?
Unfortunately not. Our internship program, you must be Australian, New Zealand citizen or have permanent residency.
Oh, good. Michelle, how about at Pixar?
The same as Jay, unfortunately.
Oh, good. Also got a question here from Tiger Lee. As an individual who is interested in management consulting and law as respective professions, you find that in-house lawyers exist at an intersection between the two. Michelle?
I probably am not the best to answer this at the
Do you want
moment.
me to take it since I work
Yeah.
for management consultancy?
Jay, take it away.
Yeah.
Take it away.
So I worked at PwC for 3 years. So have a big management consultancy arm there. I think an intersection of the two is difficult because they also had a legal practice, but that very much felt and operated like a law firm. In-house legal, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrea, services the organization itself and really acts as an in-house lawyer and that general counsel to Kraft Heinz or Bank of Queensland or PEXA or Prospal. Whereas if you are practicing law or things like that, you'd be at a law firm servicing clients. Management consultancy, I don't believe really go in and consult on legal matters as such, because you go to a law firm. So I think those are two very sort of different career paths that you may have to explore separately. And not to say that there isn't somewhere that has an intersection, but I don't think it'd be at one of your big traditional management consultancy organizations or large organizations that has in-house legal.
I agree with that. Yep. We are Australian practicing lawyers in our team. We are strictly confined to practicing as lawyers, but we do a lot of business functions that we certainly don't act in that way, and we would engage external parties to assist us if we needed management consulting. So it is quite a different function and skill, and it doesn't intersect with the legal in-house team.
Being a practicing lawyer is a very particular career path. There are different types of law, and I think that's a whole another exploration for a student studying law. But if you look at other legal career paths in terms of risk or tax or in-house legal or general business grad where legal skills are developed, they're all such broad and different things. I think this is where, if you're early enough in your degree to do internships, I've seen a number of students who will do a clerkship at a law firm. You know, if say Kraft Heinz offered an internship, would do an internship with, you know, them or PEXA or BOQ or your PwCs, and that really gives you the opportunity to see, is the grass greener on the other side, and you have two experiences which then you can compare. I think culture is such a broad term that people use that it's really hard to be tangible and explain to someone what culture means and how that affects you when you work there, you know, 37 plus hours a week, until you actually experience that for yourself. So there is no real guide or tool book or secret to making the transition from study to work, other than just exploration and learning what you do and don't like and what you yourself value. So talk to everyone, attend events, you know, do internships, be proactive, hustle till people don't have to ask your name. That's how you sort of succeed in this business world, because don't forget, your career is self-driven. And if you're not in that driver's seat, you're just kind of going to get blown around, particularly when it's super competitive in that early talent space.
I would agree. I would also say that see the first years after you do your law degree, or if you're thinking about going into practice, you don't necessarily have to move straight from a law degree into practice. I mean, I didn't do that. I waited for a short time and worked in a completely different business sector to get general experience in a different area. And I actually determined that I didn't want to work in the area that I had done my other degree in. And once I was happy that I did want to be a lawyer, then I did later went back and did my articles and became a lawyer. So it's never closed off. You've got your options open. And I would say to see every opportunity as a learning opportunity, and you don't necessarily know where it's going to take you, but in the early part of your career, it's great to keep your options open, because there is a lot of specialization that happens later in your career. So if you are going to practice law, you will probably end up specializing at some point in the sort of post 5-year period. And that will influence your career quite significantly. So it's important to really see what's out there and get a good feel before you want to decide which direction you want to pursue.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the questions.